There's a moment inside of every firm that determines everything. And the reason most firms miss it is because it doesn't look important when it happens. It doesn't interrupt the day and it doesn't raise concern. It doesn't feel urgent. It's not dramatic. It's not obvious. It's subtle. And because it's subtle, it gets ignored, not intentionally, not carelessly, just quietly. And that's why it really matters. Hi, I'm Jesse Castro. So let's slow this down. Because once you see this clearly, you won't unsee it. It's the moment where something feels slightly off, not wrong, not enough to stop everything, not something you can easily explain. It's just different. And if you've been in business long enough, you've felt this before. It's that small hesitation, that brief pause, that internal question. Should I do something about this? And in that moment, a decision gets made. Do I escalate this or not? And here's what's important. The decision feels small, it feels routine, but it feels harmless. It feels like part of the job, but it's not. That moment determines everything that follows. Let me show you exactly what this looks like, because this is where it becomes real. A call comes into a firm, it's a normal day, it's a normal pace. The person on the phone sounds professional. They sound very clear, very confident, and they reference a case. They use the right name, say just enough to sound legitimate. Then they ask a simple question. They ask you, can you confirm this detail for me? And that's it. No pressure, no urgency, nothing aggressive. The receptionist pauses just for the moment. Something feels slightly off. Not enough to explain, not enough to escalate. And in that moment, they make the decision. They answer the question. They move on, and nothing breaks, nothing that goes wrong. Everything continues as normal. 2 days later, the firm realizes what happened. Someone had been gathering information piece by piece, quietly. Nothing catastrophic, but it could have easily been. And when you look back at it, there was only one moment that mattered. It was that pause, that hesitation, that decision not to escalate. That was it. That's how it happens. Not through something obvious, through something normal. That slight feeling. That moment you can't explain, that moment that matters. And most firms ignore it. Now here's the shift. And this is where everything changes. Most firms are trying to avoid overreacting. They want to be efficient. They want to avoid unnecessary escalation. That sounds reasonable and it sounds responsible, but it's the wrong focus. The safest firms don't focus on overreacting. They focus on not under responding, because hesitation feels harmless. It feels controlled. But hesitation creates delays, and delay creates exposure. Not always immediately, not always obvious, but consistently. Now let's look at the other side. The safest firms remove decisions entirely. There is no hesitation, no internal debate, no guessing. Because the response is always defined. It's immediate, it's consistent, and it's clear. And that's what creates control. So here's the real question. Inside your firm, what happens in that moment? When something feels slightly off, what actually happens next? Is it immediate escalation, or is it left to judgment? Because if it's left to judgment, you're relying on inconsistency. And inconsistency is where problems live. So instead of guessing, start with clarity. Measure it, see it, and understand it. Take the assessment and find out where you actually stand.